Whenever you go into an interview, they want to ask you some questions, but they don't dare. Let me give you an example of one question. I'm not intending to imply, insult, or judge you here, but I am curious to know, in order to be able to respond to you in an appropriate manner, so please, forgive what appears to be, but in fact is not intended as an insulting question. Are you stupid? Okay. They can't ask that question in an interview, can they? So they won't. You know, there are a lot of other unasked questions in an interview. For example, will you work hard? What do they expect you to say? No, I'm not going to show up on time. Okay, will you work hard? Can you do this job? Will you make the team better? Do you want this job? All these are questions that they really, really do want to ask you. But, you know, when you're in an interview, the interviewers kind of look at it something like a seance. You know, in the seance, they never really believe the person being interviewed. They're not even sure if the person really exists. Well, when you're in an interview, people are not really sure what you're telling them is true, or they're not even sure if the person you're presenting really exists, because I guarantee you, every manager who has hired 10 people has had one hire that the person was totally different than what they thought they were. So they're afraid that your persona is a spirit. So what you have to do in order to convince them is to give them concrete examples, concrete, solid examples of answers to those questions that they don't ask because they sound too stupid. Okay. So for example, on the question of will you work hard, find a way to bring up when you worked late, when you got a project finished early by working extra hard. How often did you carry a beeper? What assignments did you volunteer for? Who did you take over for when you were on vacation or when they were on vacation? Did you travel out of town on assignments? Did you come back early from a vacation? How much work did you do from home after hours? How much did you do on weekends when you just needed to get a project done? You know, those are concrete examples. If you can weave them into your other answers, that will answer that huge question that's never asked. Will you work hard? Okay. Can you do this job? Well, you need to tell them what parts of the job you've done, what parts of that job you've supervised, how much research you've done on related problems. You get the idea? Will you make the team better? Well, how did you make your previous team better? When did you take over for another team member? How did you deal with a difficult coworker? Did you work late to help somebody on a project that wasn't yours because it needed to be done? Can you give examples of this? Okay. Can you start in 2 weeks? Oh, that's part of being a member of the team. It's also, do you want this job? You know, the final question. Do you want this job? Every manager who's hired 10 people has had someone who said, I want this job, I want this job, I want this job. Then when they offer them the job at the agreed upon price, the person says no. And it really makes the manager look bad because they've gone through the whole process. So show them why you want the job. Now, one little hint here. Don't complain or whine or moan about your previous job. That's not how you do it. The way you do it is you say that you talk to them about what you'll be able to learn in the new job. You talk to them about how much you see the company bringing to you and how much you can bring to the company. You talk about being able to hit the ground running, looking forward to your first project. You talk about the facts about the company that appeal to you, the things that you've done in your research. You do some research about the company beforehand so you know what those facts are. See? That's the way you answer these unasked questions. And what I would do if I were you is I would take a piece of paper, write down these 4 questions, and then go back and write answers. And before you go into the interview, go over them one more time in the car right before you go in. It'll make a huge difference in your interview. When you're trying to answer the 4 unasked questions, will you work hard? Can you do this job? Will you make the team better? And do you really want this job? I'm Brian Dilts. My website is www.howtoreallygetagreatjob.com and www.dilts.us. Love to see you there. Hope you have a great day.